You know, it's wild to think that cybersecurity wasn't really a thing just a few decades ago. Now it's like make or break for so many businesses.
Absolutely. It's everywhere now.
And the stuff you sent me dives right into the deep end, focusing on what they call enterprise privilege management.
Right, EPM.
EPM, yeah. And I gotta be honest, when I first heard that, I thought, oh, is this gonna be one of those super techie things that'll put me to sleep? But
It's actually a lot more interesting than it sounds.
yeah, it is. So tell me, for those of us who, don't live and breathe IT, what is EPM really all about?
Well, at its core, EPM is about protecting what we call privileged accounts. The accounts that have like the highest levels of access.
Okay, so like the master keys to the castle.
Exactly. Think of it like this. These are the accounts that can access the most sensitive data, the systems that, keep everything running.
Okay, so making sure the wrong people don't get their hands on those keys.
Right.
That makes sense. And I see you've got a definition from enterpriseprivilegemanagement.com here, along with a couple of YouTube videos.
Yeah, those videos do a really good job of breaking down the different aspects of EPM, especially how big organizations are using it. And, the thing is, as businesses rely more and more on digital systems, EPM becomes even more crucial.
Right, because there's more to protect.
Exactly. And, it's not just about hackers. It's about protecting a company from, well, all sorts of threats, both inside and out.
Insider threats, too. So not just some guy in a hoodie in a dark room.
It can be anyone, really. Anyone who has access to sensitive data and misuses it accidentally or intentionally.
Wow, okay. That adds a whole other layer to this. Now, one of the videos mentions this thing called least privilege access.
Oh, that's fundamental.
It sounds pretty important.
Oh, it's UGE. Basically, it means giving users only the access they absolutely need to do their job, and nothing more.
So, if you work in marketing, you don't need access to the financial records.
Precisely. Like giving someone a key to only one room in a building, the one they need. Not a master key to the whole place.
Okay, I get it. Less access, less risk. And this video even says it's going to talk about how to implement this.
Yeah, which is usually the tricky part.
Right, because how do you even begin to figure that out for a whole company?
Well, luckily, the guy who made these videos, Bert Blevins, seems to know a thing or two about that.
Yeah. Now, this Bert Blevins guy, he's not some random IT guy, right?
Not at all. His background is actually pretty fascinating. He's been a professor, he's led different organizations, he's not just a techie.
I noticed on his website he even talks about process optimization. You don't see that every day.
Not in the cybersecurity world, no. But it makes sense, doesn't it? If you can make things run smoother, make processes more efficient.
That probably helps with security, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I think that's what makes Blevins' perspective so interesting. He's not just thinking about security in a vacuum. He's thinking about how it fits into, the bigger picture of how a business operates.
Okay, so he's not just building walls, he's making sure the doors work, too.
Exactly. He wants to protect, but he also wants things to keep running smoothly.
I like that.
He sees both sides.
Now, before we get too deep into the weeds of how it all works in the real world, what are some of the key things we should be thinking about?
The second YouTube video description actually gives a good overview of that. It talks about things like, automating passwords, monitoring sessions, controlling who has access to what.
Ooh, automated password management. You had me at automated.
Right. No more sticky notes, and it's way more secure.
I feel like I spend half my life trying to remember passwords. But what about this session monitoring? Doesn't that sound a little, creepy?
I know it sounds a bit Big Brother-ish, but it's actually more about having an extra layer of protection. It's like having security cameras for your systems.
Okay, so you can see what's happening in real time.
Exactly. And if something suspicious is going on, you can catch it early.
All right, that makes me feel a little better about it. And then, what was it? Access controls? That sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's basically like setting the rules for who can access what information. Like the velvet rope for your sensitive data.
I get it. So we've got our passwords on lockdown, we're monitoring everything, we've got the velvet ropes in place. Sounds like we're building a pretty solid security fortress here.
It's a start. But the thing is, security can't just be about locking things down. You have to make sure the right people can still get their work done.
Right. You don't want to make it so secure that no one can actually use anything. So how do you find that balance?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. And that's something that Blevins really seems to understand. He's not just about building walls, he's about making sure everything works smoothly on the inside too.
So it's not just about keeping the bad guys out, it's about making sure the good guys can still get their work done.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned Blevins' background as a professor. Do you think that influences how he approaches EPM?
Oh, absolutely. I think his teaching background has helped him learn to explain things clearly, even complex stuff.
So he's not just talking to the IT experts, he's making sure everyone understands what's going on.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, EPM isn't just about technology. It's about people and processes. It's about creating a culture of security awareness.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not just about firewalls and passwords. It's about getting everyone on board with protecting sensitive information.
Precisely. And that's what makes Blevins' perspective so valuable.
Well, this is definitely giving me a lot to think about. And I'm definitely curious to hear more about the specific insights Blevins offers in those videos. But before we dive into that, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back to explore those videos in more detail. All right, so we've talked about what EPM is and why it's such a big deal. But now I want to get into the actual how-to stuff.
Yeah, the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. So let's look at these YouTube videos and see what Bert Blevins has to say.
Okay, so the first video is all about least privilege access, which we touched on earlier.
Right, the whole idea of limiting access.
It's kind of the foundation, you know?
Yeah, seems like it. But the question is, how do you actually do that? Especially for a big company with a zillion employees and systems.
It's not easy, that's for sure. But this video says it's going to cover some practical steps.
Okay, good. Because otherwise it's just a nice idea, right?
Exactly. It's got to be actionable.
And I think that's where Blevins' background comes in, that whole process optimization thing.
Oh, interesting point.
Because if you can streamline processes, maybe that means fewer people even need access to certain things.
That's a really good point, actually.
Right. So less access by default.
Yeah. It's like security through efficiency.
Exactly. Okay, now I'm even more interested in what this guy has to say.
Okay.
The video also mentions something called just-in-time access. What's that all about?
Oh, that's a cool concept.
Yeah.
Basically, instead of giving someone permanent access to something, they only get it when they need it, and for a limited time.
Oh, like a temporary pass?
Exactly.
Makes sense, but wouldn't that be a huge pain for the IT folks? Like
Yeah.
constantly having to give people access and then take it away?
You'd think so, but a lot of this stuff can be automated now.
Oh, okay. So it's not like someone's sitting there hitting a button every time someone needs to open a file.
No, not at all. The systems can handle a lot of it.
That's good, because I can imagine that would get old fast. What else? Oh, role-based access control. I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, RBAC, that's a pretty classic approach.
Refresh my memory. What's that one?
It's all about assigning access based on, well, your role in the company. So like everyone in marketing gets access to this, everyone in finance gets access to that.
Right. So you're not managing it for each individual person. You're doing it by groups.
Exactly. Makes it way easier to manage.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, the second video, this seems to be where we get into how EPM actually works, like the solutions and stuff.
Yeah, it dives into the tech a bit more. It talks about those things we mentioned, password management, monitoring, access controls. But it also talks a lot about integration.
Integration!
Yeah.
That sounds complicated.
It can be, but the idea is basically that all your security systems should be talking to each other.
So it's not just a bunch of separate things, it's all connected.
Right, like a team, working together.
That makes sense. But that's gotta be a lot to set up, right?
It can be, yeah. But again, a lot of these solutions are designed to work together.
So it's not like you're buying a bunch of random parts and trying to make them fit.
Hopefully not.
Okay, good. Because that sounds like a headache. What else? Reporting and analytics. That sounds kind of boring. Is it just a bunch of charts and graphs?
More than that, actually. It's about getting insights into how people are using their access. Like, are there any patterns that look suspicious?
So it's not just controlling access, it's about understanding how it's being used.
Exactly. You're looking for clues, basically.
Like a security detective.
Exactly. Trying to spot problems before they become big problems.
Okay, I like that. But with all this technology, I gotta wonder, are we getting too reliant on it? What about the human side of things?
That's a really good question. And it's something that Blevins definitely talks about.
Because we can have all the fancy systems in the world, but if people don't know how to use them, or if they're doing risky things...
It's all for nothing.
Exactly. So what's the solution?
Well, Blevins talks a lot about the importance of training, making sure people understand the risks and how to stay safe.
Right, because it's not enough to just have the technology, you have to know how to use it properly.
And more importantly, you have to understand why it's important.
Okay, so it's like security awareness training. But it has to be good training, right? Not just some boring slideshow.
Exactly. It has to be engaging. It has to be relevant to people's jobs.
So it's not just checking a box, it's actually changing behavior.
That's the goal.
And it's not just about individuals, right? Blevins talks about the whole company culture, too.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be a top-down thing.
Like, everyone has to buy into the idea that security is everyone's responsibility.
Right. It can't just be the IT department's problem.
It's got to be a team effort.
Exactly. And that's where leadership comes in. They have to set the tone.
Okay, so it's about technology, it's about training, it's about culture. EPM is starting to sound like a pretty big undertaking.
It is, but it's essential.
And it sounds like Blevins has a pretty interesting take on how to make it all work.
Yeah, I think he's got a good grasp on the big picture.
Well, I'm definitely eager to hear more about his specific insights, but first, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back to dig into those videos. Okay, so we're back, and I'm really interested in this whole human element of EPM. Like, what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, one of the things that Blevins really stresses is the importance of really good security awareness training.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like you can have the best locks on your doors, but if someone just leaves the key under the mat.
Exactly. And that's where training comes in, making sure people understand the risks.
Right, because it's one thing to have a password manager, but if you use the same password for everything.
It defeats the purpose.
Exactly. So what does good security training even look like?
Well, it's got to be engaging. It can't just be like a boring PowerPoint presentation that people tune out.
Right, it's got to be something that actually sticks with them.
Exactly. And it has to be relevant to people's jobs.
So not just general stuff, but things that they might actually encounter in their day-to-day work.
Yeah, like how to spot a phishing email or what to do if you think your device has been compromised.
Okay, that makes sense. And it sounds like Blevins is saying this training shouldn't just be a one-time thing.
Oh, definitely not. It's got to be ongoing. Because the threats are constantly changing, right?
Well, you got to keep people up to date.
Exactly. And it's not just about training individuals either. Blevins talks a lot about the company culture.
Right. It's got to be a bigger thing than that.
It's about creating a culture where everyone understands that security is important.
So it's not just the IT department's problem, it's everyone's responsibility.
Exactly. And that starts with leadership.
Yeah, if the people at the top don't take it seriously, no one else will.
Exactly. And one of the things that I think is really interesting is how Blevins talks about the evolving role of EPM.
Oh yeah, how so?
Well, traditionally it's been seen as a way to lock things down, prevent breaches.
Right, like a defensive measure.
Exactly. But as companies become more digital, more reliant on the cloud.
It's not just about saying no anymore.
Right. It's about finding secure ways to say yes.
Oh, I like that.
So EPM is becoming less about being a gatekeeper and more about being an enabler.
So it's about helping businesses move forward, but doing it safely.
Exactly. It's about striking that balance.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But how does EPM actually do that?
Well, for example, a lot of EPM solutions now integrate with cloud platforms.
So you can still have that security layer even when you're not working within the company's own systems.
Yeah, and they're also playing a big role in things like remote work.
All right.
Bring your own device policies.
Right, because nowadays people are working from everywhere.
Exactly. And EPM is helping to make sure that all that access from all those different places is still secure.
That's a lot to keep track of. So it sounds like EPM is having to adapt pretty quickly to all these changes.
Oh, absolutely. And it's only going to get more complex as things like AI and machine learning become more integrated.
Wait, AI and EPM, what does that even look like?
Well, imagine using AI to analyze all the data from your systems, looking for patterns, anomalies.
So it's like having an AI security guard constantly on the lookout for anything suspicious?
That's the idea.
Okay, that's kind of mind-blowing. But what does that mean for the human security experts? Are they all going to be out of a job?
I don't think so. I think it's more about, AI handling the routine tasks and freeing up the humans to focus on the bigger picture.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about making them more effective.
Exactly. It's about using AI to augment human capabilities.
And I think that's where Blevins' perspective is really valuable. He understands both the technology and the human side of things.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive. I feel like I have a much better understanding of EPM now.
Me too. And, it really makes you think about all the different layers of security that are involved in keeping a company safe.
It's not just about firewalls and passwords anymore. It's so much more than that.
And it's constantly evolving.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.